Super high, super fly, super in your face. Super high, super fly, and super in your face. Light up a place with no disgrace. Telling time it ain't shit. I am this what? Wow. Yep, there's a duality there. Times the yin to the heaven of yang. Straight up now, tell me, is it going to be you and me forever? Come on now. Cheddar. Hello, I'm still here. Are we doing it? Probably not. See ya. I just finished my forensic evaluation, and now it's time to smoke some wine. Hello, cherubs and scarabs. You will find me right now pretty happy I just passed or took my forensic evaluation. Celebrating by, I guess, apparently buying a watermelon pipe. 45 bucks. Not too bad. It's got a little double entendre there with a hexagram. Pretty cool. But anyway, I passed my forensic evaluation. Everything was pretty clear. That lady could tell my apartment was screwing with me. And then after I'd gotten a few packages stolen, I blew up because I thought I had my patio door unlocked and opened, and I thought a few of them little gibber snappers got in and stole some knives that my father had made for me. So felt pretty bad when I found those knives later, considering I went out to my patio and fired a few gunshots on the ground. Pissed off. So that's basically all I did. Grounded a few shots at my apartment. I was from out in the country where you could just go outside and shoot your rifle or whatever at my old house. So I didn't think it would be as much of a big deal as it was. When I got a call from the police telling me to come out, I knew I was going to jail. Chilled out a little bit, got my shit together, hid some knives and stuff, just so I'd have them later. So cheers. Happy. So I splurged. Got me a saucepan for myself. Here you go. See? I might wear it. It's a token of gratitude. Crusoes. That's it. Yep, still wearing the same shirt. Chinky dinky. Slippery dippery doo. The cat jumped over the zoo. He got into a melon that was being chased by a few felons. Boy, and he did he. And boy, he did he. And boy, he did he. Make off with that pot of stew. Those leprechauns couldn't keep up. Chicka dinky. Phillips. So this is Cheney Phillips. I'd like to interview all you lawn schwanies of the earth. Crusoes. Breed with it. It's Screwy Lewis in the news here forevermore. So I'm putting this on the Skinematic scratch routine. This is Squionara to your Squeeblemorphs. Mayowner. Chicky morphs. Yeah. Chop, motherfucker. Mayowner 93. 2013. 24. 21. 10. 5. 3. 24. 5. Simple as it gets, sucker. What? So what is that? 608. And we will try that 24, 29, 32. That's what I thought. Big time, sucker. 32 is the big time sucker. Yeah. Three, 24, 27. Sahasrara. 5, the king. The King Thor. Mayowner 93, forevermore. I don't do it, do I, boys? Cut you down, suckers. You're the fly in my ointment. Get out of my motherfucking wood pile, suckers. Huh? Right. And death is life. Oh, Kshatriya. Ksha! 2 billion people don't touch that dial. Touche. Death. Cruces. Rock. Rock and roll. Wizard Yowen. Ad eternal. Woo, woo. Sucker of the woods. Saying China to you. Crocodiles. Whore bar cry. 121, 1111. I am that. It is I? Is it I? That is it. Shattered, tattered. I know. But I lift thee up. Cruces. No aeon dead monkey queens, if you know what I mean. Skunt melons, I've been telling felon time. Do you know what I time? Garden variety, I mean. Phoenix Sun, 121. I know. Was that the Wazzle Whoop? Because I should just sweared. It was noon. The Nu Abrahadabra. I like it. The Nu Abrahadabra. First 3 words of Liber Legis. I proved it. The hod was scrunched in. because my original order was basically the new Freemasonry, but the new Freemasonry with a NV, I knew it would get confused too much with the Nevada Freemasonic chapter. So that had me searching for a new word, not a new world order, but world order just so happens to fit within the 11 letters of Freemasonry. Freemasonry has 11 letters, and then I saw world order has 10 letters with a space in between the D and the O, which makes common sense on a seal, on a round seal. So I was working with the formula seal of the new Freemasonry, which made a complete harmonious round equilibrated glyph that had Nu right as the top two letters. It was the top two is Nu right there. And then there's like eight spaces on the very bottom, and then I knew that the 6 letters of Crowley's thelema in Greek would fit perfectly right there as will right at the bottom. So will's the fire, the kind of ever-burning fire right there. And then at the bottom of that seal that has the truncated pyramid with the Eye of Providence right over it. So it's basically kind of like the Great Seal of America, but the occult version of that, truly done, where the base equals the height. So it's not an equilateral triangle. It's a triangle where the base is the exact measurement of its height, which the true symbolism is that is the adept that has got his spine truly vertical to measure his height, and thus the true perpendicular. And he has attained the final equilibrium of the Katerian Sahasrarian equilibration point of self-realization, and attained to the Holy Spirit, holy and truly. That's the Ipsissimus grade, playing out basically when the adept becomes wholly, totally self-identified with the Bindu point. Basically, you can go tons. It's the coagulatio in the 7 stages of alchemy of Basil Valentine, as modernly propagated by Dennis Hawk and The Emerald Tablet. He actually stumbled upon the true 7 stages, which is correlated to the 7 chakras from Mūlādhāra, as Venus as the genitals up, Svādhiṣṭhāna, the belly button, as the sun, Manipūra, the liver, as Mars, and then you got the heart chakra as Jupiter, as Ḥesed on the Tree of Life. But it actually does bifurcate into the sun. It does go into the sun, but that's another system. But I do want everybody to know it's Jupiter right there, but it is actually there is actually the sun symbolism there that I can't get into right now. And then finally, on the planetary chakras, right at the throat, you have the purity of Viśuddha, and that's the throat chakra, and that's Saturn, and that's the trigram, the creative trigram. So the most heavenly trigram, the most planetary sphere is right here. Many people think that the entire chakra system is planetary. It's not. This is the end of the planets right here. It's beyond the planets. The chakra system is beyond the planets because it's transcendent of everything. It makes sense, but people try to like harness their correlations down to fit their psychology a little bit. So it ends right here, planetary. It ends with the actual feet. There's 8 planets, and the bottommost planet is Malkut on the Tree of Life of the Kabbalists, which is correlated to planetary Earth, which is not as commonly spoken of as the 7 classic planets, because the 7 classic planets had a little Jacob's ladder Tree of Life from Saturn down to Moon, and then below the Moon was the Earth where everybody lived, which was kind of the microcosm or the center of everything, because they didn't have quite the universal heliocentrism that we do now. So they thought the Earth was the center of all, which it is magically. It doesn't change. So they had it right. Reality is magical. Completely and totally. So, yes, y'all. And I don't stop. This is the Crusoe's kid getting it right. So, okay. So I'm back on track. The top chakra is the first trigram of the Yijing, the creative, correlated to the number 3 as Binah on the Tree of Life, and correlated to planetary Saturn. So this is actually the fathermost chakra, the malemost chakra, even though it's like super pure, because the father has purified himself into basically a Shiva worshiper, like my Bindu spot, like some kind of Shavite. So he's rocky rolling his fertile Gnosis in these final days of summer, even like it is right now. So we're just about to go into fall, and it's this top trigram of the Yijing everybody's enjoying, which is like very fertile, has the leaves falling, very beautiful. It's basically Saturn at his most fertile, because everything is starting to give fruit right now. And has been. But you get into fall, and that really is the cornucopia of the mother. So, but that's actually way down here into the genitals, is that trigram, is the actual genitals, and the father is right here, and then the mother actually begins at the genitals. But anyway, we're going up, and so the next chakra beyond the planetary chakra, so you have those 8 trigrams of the Taiji 2 and the standard martial arts symbolism. You've got those 8 trigrams around the Taiji 2, it's called, of the yin and yang, which is a lot of people have seen. It's that martial arts diagram of the yang on top, the white yang on top of a black yin circle that flows around. So that's this. This is the left and brain hemisphere of the brain. It goes around, and when you're at a really good level of, you're at a flow state, and that's the Taiji 2 of the third eye chakra. It's the center of the circle, because once you get into the 8 trigrams, you're going on the outside of the circle, and you're getting pluralized. You're getting bifurcated, and you're getting outside into the desire kind of categories of existence. But those are the 4 elements. The 8 trigrams are actually the 4 cardinal are in the 4 cardinal directions, which are the 4 elements. So precedent to the 8 trigrams and the 8 planets are the 4 elements. and precedent to the four elements, which hardly anybody has put together, but is straight up correct philosophy, is the Taiji 2 of the yin and yang, which is not the normal Kabbalistic attributions as thought, but exist in complementary harmony, all in with Ḥokmah, wisdom, pure wisdom. So it's the pure wisdom of the third eye chakra, just receiving bliss and truth every second. Why not? Pure naturality of the love under will of the harmony of truth that is naturally present on earth. Peasantry taken to the spiritual height that it's naturally prescient of to begin with, in total harmony, in truth, once you let nature take its natural vibe of love under will and truth, and quit being asserting yourself. Once you throw your cards in initially, it's really quite easy, because you know you're on the path to adepthood. So we're talking about that third eye chakra, and that's all the Taiji 2 of love under will, believe it or not. So it's the face, love under will. It's the that's the bottommost vibration and reverberation of the Krusos of the Ein Sof R way above, because that's the child, and that's the unity. That's the first unity of the father and mother. So you got father, mother, and child right at the top. Right at the top, it goes father, mother, child, and that child's the unity, the sacred triad. So it's that golden, beautiful Christ child. Basically, is how everybody knows it. It's also the Horus child, but you know, we can take whatever symbolism. It's just the golden child right at the top, and that is the trident, and that's the harmony of the three. So that's taken as very serious within religion, and it's basically the eternal. It's the first eternal synopsis. It's the first eternal truth. It's the first eternal unity. Like the unitary. This is the first, like the first gasp of like the triad, like any kind of unity, because you have father and mother there. I mean, and that's like the that's a bitheism, but the first summation. It's the first attempt at a eternal summation, is what I'm getting at. It's not hard to understand, but people are blocked to this knowledge right now. A little bit. So the triad is the first attempt at an eternal, true summation by the adept. So that's why it's like, so you got Woden right there seething his trance state. 9 days, iron and steel. I hammered out the tree and I let it be filled with the angels. The angels. Like the will. So that's the will, son. Like that seething, trying to wisdom through self-sacrifice is number 13. That's why it's the hangman. But you reverse that now with Thelema currently on Earth, and that the man don't have to be hanged anymore. That's why in my tarot it's just the man, because it is that man. It's the Christ risen. 13 is the Christ risen because it's unity. So you can't have 13 as the hangman anymore, because we have the gnosis of Christ. So we're on the up and up. We're not hanged. So you have all that, like, what is his left eye, I think, was out or something, or I think maybe his left eye was showing, maybe in the shamanic kind of deal. He's kind of going for it and trying to get all that in wisdom. So it is the WD, it's the wisdom, and then it's Woden. So it is magical. The WD is magical. And in runes, that would be Wunjo, and then the D of daylight, which is 23. 23 is very magical because it's Kai in Hebrew, which is life. I think it's probably 8. Yeah. It's probably 8, 10, 5. And so you got the 8 and the 5. The 8 and the 5 is very magical as Phi. That's why my magical child 4774 Gnosis is so wonderful, partly because it is the 5 words of 8 letters around the circle. So in each direction, it's Hor Par Krat 121 1111. And then in the center, it's Haru Ma Kis, which is 330. Doesn't matter what the Hebrew is, because in ritual, Hebrew can get a little non-standard and represent all of its vowels, I've learned. This is why Satan can be 121 as 11 squared in Hebrew as 60 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 50. Okay? That's an ultimate word. I've discovered that 4-7 plus 7-4 is basically the key of it all, universally and for all time. MCXI. MC squared, sirs. Thank you. Now I will go through, for the first time, I think in video, my binary correlations to the Tree of Life. And I think I might get into the Minor Arcana a little bit, and Geomancy here coming up in this next video. So I'm introducing that a little bit. Cheers. I'm doing it domestic. I rolled domestic today. Haven't had a Miller Lite in forever. Should drink Bud Light. A little bit subpar. It's kind of... but, cheers. Anyway, we rolling. Doing the wonderful Yijing, man. I got my shit together. So basically, we'll give you a heads up. It's Wu Ji Guang on the Ein Sof. So we're going from the top to bottom on the qabalah, brother. Now every Thelamite kabbalist should be able to understand me that, okay, here I go. So I'm saying, you know how in Jewish Kabbalah, it's only the Ein Sof preceding the number 1. I think they got it wrong. They have it right, of course, but they've got it wrong, and it's just and just the Ein Sof. And I am of the school where I think the triadic Ein Sof R is actually an ultimate formula preceding the number 1 in the Kabbalah. So I am a proponent of that triadic structure because I have found it represents the non-manifest, just as the Book of the Law of Aleister Crowley kind of goes towards proving that there is a triadic non-manifest structure up there. This is why so presently Thelemites don't really put Hadit, Nuit, and the child right at the Ein Sof R level like I do. So, I mean, it's just basically simple, quite simple philosophy. But I do that, and then I have been able to equate the Ein Sof of the Hebrews as Nuit or Nuit. So I ascribe Nuit as the Ein Sof, and the way I do that is because Ein Sof means without limit, and in Chinese, I was able to equate Wu Ji with Nuit as Ein Sof as without ridgepole, without. So the house and the tent of the Chinese that was without the vertical ridgepole, basically that house was without limit of ridgepole. So basically that ridgepole, they noticed the China, it's kind of a peasant, it's beautiful peasantry. If you look up the big mountain in China, so basically in Chinese, Wu Ji equals without ridgepole of a house. So if you can imagine those two sides of the house, if they don't have a top, it's basically the topless house, the house without limit. So Wu Ji is in, and then the ancient Taoists were able to equate that with the empty circle, just the circle with the black, just a black inscribed circle with white in the center and then on the circumference. So it's basically just a black, like if I drew a black circle with no distinction between outer or inner. So it's basically just limitlessness is what they were trying to communicate, I believe, with the Wu Ji, is just basically limitlessness. And that's the same thing as Nuit of Aleister Crowley, and I think those can both be I think it's basically the Ein Sof of an area of the Kabbalists, of the Hermetic Kabbalists. So Ein Sof equals Nuit equals Wu Ji. Was my major discovery that led me to know that I was on track, of course. I mean, I don't know if I'm telling the truth exactly there, because I figured a bunch of other, schnicky dickies out. But then I was eventually able to know then that the Tao was not quite the Hadit top area, but it's the child, because the Tao is the way equaled the infinite way. It's like all the ways. It's like every which way but loose, or every which way you can. That's Clint Eastwood. It's like every which way. The Tao is every which. It's the way. In geomancy, the 4 dots is Wea, and that's way, and that's the top geomancy symbol. So it's will right away. It's the way, but the Tao is actually the Ein Sof R as the infinite way, but Ein Sof R equals light without limit. So I think there's a little bit of an association with the etymology of the Tao with light, but in 207, yeah, it is associated with 207. The ancient etymology, I was trying to remember, it's I think it's DRG, or DRG probably. And that's 207 in Hebrew. Dalet, Resh, Gamel. So DRG, and then that's 207, which equals R, in Hebrew is Aleph, Vav, Resh. So you've got a direct parallel with way equals light, and so the infinite light equals the infinite way. So it fits right in. So the Tao is the Ein Sof R, and then actually the Keter point is the day. That's the virtue being expressed of the infinite light. So the infinite light beyond all manifestation, and then you have the Big Bang of creation. That's the day, that's the virtue, and that's the pleroma, the fullness of the Tao, which is kind of the empty, it's like the fullness, the Krusos, the gold fullness, pure light, love, beautiful child, the infinite child, the infinitely sacred child being expressed. Each universe is. Each holy universe is the infinite sacred child being expressed, basically. So I was glad I was able to come to that conclusion, but I was actually trying to prelude this. So I'm actually preluding this entire talk, and now we're getting into the lower kind of tree of life. So that all infinite sacred child phoenix gnosis of the Ein Sof R pinpoints itself into a self-realized universal creation point that is, of course, beyond space and time, but space and time manifests right at that Bindu creation point. That's the physical parallel to the probability wave collapsing. So at the number 1, the probability wave does collapse into the Bindu, which precedes each universe's creation and creativity. So it's like Ptah, it's Toth. Up there is the Yehovah formula. So I've been able to prove that the Yehovah formula is true. God equals 26, both in English and Hebrew. Yehovah, it's it's the quaternity. So you've got will, love, light. Will plus love plus light equals magic. And right at that fourth, that's right when the self-realized universe is born. And that's actually the daughter of the Yehovah formula. So you've got mother, you've got father, mother, son, but originally you've got father, mother, child, and that's that first child, that's a completely hermaphroditic child. So you've got sulfur, salt, mercury. And then the mercury is the complete unity. So absolutely, there's a sulfur, salt, mercury right at the top of creation, which is father, mother's child. And that child is originally purely hermaphroditic, without sex. And the only difference between the 3 and the 4 is that the 4's child part divides between the son and the daughter. So it gets sexed. Between the 3 and the 4, the child gets sexed. And then that creates the point of creation, because the daughter gets manifest at that earthly level there, even though it's the Bindu point of creation. And then, so it's like father, mother, son, daughter, right at the Bindu point of creation. And now, after the Bindu point, the point becomes the Taijitu of the father and mother, of a manifest father and mother in a mid-state of unity. You had that first state of Bindu unity, and now the number 2. The number 2 is in this perpetual harmony of complementarity and wonderful love under will being expressed unity. Okay? So even it's still in the spirit. The 1 and the 2 are still in the realm of the Holy Spirit. So the number 2 will eventually, in love under will, break into the 4. And that's something like totally unheard of in the qabalah because it hasn't been theorized. But right after the 2 becomes the 4 bigrams of the Yijing. And those are 4 pure elements, and still where the prana is very pure. Now, eventually, those 4 pure elements, they go from fire, air, water, earth in a straight logical manner now. So it wasn't logical quite. It was like spiritual up in the Ain regions of the tree of life. And then you have the Bindu, and then you have the Taijitu. And now, after the Taijitu, the plurality of creation now manifests in a completely logical manner. Like straight, it's like encounters the logicality of time or something like that. And then just pluralizes down in a completely true and logical manner, obeying the beautiful maths of creation. So after the 2 of Taijitu, you've got the 4 bigrams around that that don't get numbered, like mysteriously kind of, but they're just phases, and they're just like breaths and ways of being. They're like they're pretty holy. They're quite holy still. So those are just pranas to breathe and to be, and spaces. So with the number 3, you've got the phases. You don't have phases anymore. You start to get cakras. So you got the throat chakra with number 3. Like before, you've had the Sahasrara and the Ajna chakra that you were working with in the Keter and Ḥokmah regions. And now we're at the throat chakra of Binah as Saturn with the number 3, and it just pluralizes right down with the body, down to the fingers and toes, which is Malkut. Malkut is the 10 fingers, 10 toes. So it actually follows the brokenness of the body, the way the body actually breaks. It follows with the binary system, which is completely amazing and blew my mind, and all this stuff kind of blew my mind, but I was able to figure it out over the course of 1995 to 2020, about 25 years. So I didn't piece together the how important the binary system was to the tree of life. I did have around 2002. I knew Crowley's trigrams weren't really right, and I knew it was a lot more magical to put the Saturn trigram right in Binah and just follow the trigram sequentially down to Malkut as planetary Earth, because I knew that the bigram of Neṣaḥ, like when you sequentially follow it, it's just the first, it's the first yin trigram. So it's like yang, yang, and then yin. I knew that was very natural and of nature. So I knew it was right in nature. I could intuit them psychologically and magically from almost my first experience. And then it wasn't long after I had invented these 16 tetragrams and 32 pentagrams for myself. Just logically, spontaneously, common sensely, pretty much. Because the pentagrams lend themselves to elemental planetary counterchanges, just as logic would have you if the top two lines are, if the top three lines are the planets and the bottom two lines are the elements of the five-fold, or the 32-fold pentagrams of the Yijing. As it was basically just common sense, there's 32 pentagrams of the Yijing if you extend it out beyond the 8 trigrams. For some reason, there was like a crazy blockage of people's knowledge to really work out the binary system logically. So I was able to do that. And now this next video will show you those grams of the Yijing and show you my correlations. As a time, I want to get this time stamped as much as possible because it like revolutionizes the qabalah, and I just want to get it set in stone so there's no confusion. Cruces. It's a wonderful world. All right, guys, here's the video where I show my actual gamut correlations from Binah to Malkut in relation to the binary system and even the minor arcana of the tarot, as well as geomancy, how it all fits together. And I've got Thor's Mjolnir to inspire and help my will crack you some bitches all along that path. Here we go. So here you got my this is basically my tree of life to binary correlations, and I differ from Aleister Crowley in that I let those trigrams run straight down the tree of life in a yang to yin order. Okay? So I've got Mars as that, Tiferet as that, Neṣaḥ is that, 8, 9, 10, planetary Earth, all right? So I got those linear correlations, okay? And I've already explained in the previous video how the number 2 is the actual Taiji 2 of the common martial arts symbolism. And then, unbeknownst to all adepts hitherto, before now in video, is that after the number 2 of Ḥokmah, which is the Taiji 2, there is a phase space of elemental symbolism between the numbers 2 and the numbers 3, and they do not get numbered. Just like the court cards of the Minor Arcana do not get numbered, those elements do not, the pure element, 4 pure elements do not get numbered within the Magickal reality that we are in. It's as simple as that. So in this magical reality, the elements do not get numbered. It's a secret that is brought out, is proven by the court cards of the tarot, and is brought out by this, the correlations of the tree of life to the binary system that I am adumbrating right here. So after the Taiji 2 of Ḥokmah as 2, where both opposites are in a complementary union of love under will and a mid-state unity between the totality of the unity and the beginning of the gamut of duality. So here we go. We move to the number 3, which is Saturn and the utmost heavenly trigram of the creative. So there we go. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, and Earth as the eighth planet. Okay? So all you have to do is assume a bottom-up structure to the binary system, and you will get, and you will achieve and arrive at these certain geomantic correlations of the Yijing to Geomancy to the 16 court cards of the Minor Arcana of the Tarot. This is where Wea is the way. I like king here. I say knight in this diagram, but it's actually king, prince, queen, princess is fine. So you got fire of fire, air of fire, water of fire, earth of fire. It goes sequentially from father to, or from male to female. So you have king, prince, queen, princess, and that is the other major elemental hierarchy that takes precedent over the major elemental hierarchy of father, mother, son, daughter that exists in the Ain of the tree of life, the Ain region. So we've got king, prince, queen, princess of all four of the elements. And that is the next divisions below the tree of life, actually. So you've got the tree of life as the 8 trigrams of the Yijing. And then below that, you have the 16 elemental counterchanges. And that's on a nice peasantry formation of the earth, formation of reality still, where everybody's in cheerful relation with each other. And so it's the 16 court cards of all the different inhabitants of the earth, human inhabitants. And then we get down, so right below that, you get into the 3 to 10 of the Minor Arcana. The deuces are actually the Taiji 2 type elements, and those are actually the deuces of the Minor Arcana are actually the conjunctions of 2 planets. The fire elemental suit is the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. The air elemental suit is the conjunction of Mars and the Sun. The water elemental suit of Cups is the conjunction of Venus and Mercury, and the Earth elemental suit is the conjunction of the Moon and planetary Earth, which you could say is Selene and Terra in Latin, two goddesses. So it's all super sensical. So here are my correlations, which you'll have to just kind of jot down. But it all totally makes sense in correlation to yang to yin of the binary system. And the 64 hexagrams exist below the Minor Arcana 3 through 10 of each suit. They're just simply the next bifurcated level of the Minor Arcana suits 3 to 10 pip cards. That's all it is. And those are the planetary counter changes. So I've been able to wed the Minor Arcana to the to geomancy, and then but mostly to the tree of life in an absolute manner. So the major discovery is that the Taiji-2 is Ḥokmah. Ḥokmah is not the father, and Binah is not the mother per se. That's not the major symbolism. The major symbolism of Ḥokmah is the Taiji-2 of the Yijing, and then 3 through 10 is the 8 trigrams. So that's the break with common Kabbalistic philosophy that I made. So here it is. This is the first time, but it like all completely correlates at this point. So what there is after the tree of life and the cakras upon the human body, the tree of life is basically the 7 cakras upon the human body, which are actually the 10. So after the 7 of Neṣaḥ is Mūlādhāra. I'm just gonna kind of chill out here with this. I think you guys seen enough. But we'll show a little sunshine or something. But right after the cakras on your body, which correlate to the tree of life, all that happens is that Mūlādhāra as Venus, as the genitals. I have a little bit of a different thing, but my Venus is Mūlādhāra as the genitals. The 8 of Hod and the Mercury trigram that I posted is at the knees and the elbows. And then the Yesod and Moon trigram is at the ankles and wrists. So it's nice for a woman to have a little bit of moon jewelry bracelet on her wrists. And then finally, the end trigram, all yin, is Malkut and our 10 fingers and toes, okay? And another thing is right when the body becomes duality at the genitals and shoulders level, right when that torso bisects itself into two, is when the yang switches to yin. That is my major discovery and how it all correlates together, and part of my proof of why the Indians got it wrong by making Mūlādhāra the very bottom of the spine and then putting Svādhiṣṭhāna as the genitals. I moved that up. I put Mūlādhāra as the genital area, and then I put Svādhiṣṭhāna as the nourishing belly button of the sun, and then I put Maṇipūra as the liver and as the power center of Mars. And that's how I think it happens. And then I put the heart chakra as Jupiter, and that's it. And then I also think when sitting down, all of those yin centers of Mūlādhāra on down are correlated basically to the lotus, while the Buddha is sitting upon the lotus. So that's all lotus from the Mūlādhāra genital chakra on down. And then from up, I think it's yang. And so you basically have a natural perpendicular sign. You have the horizontal line as the lotus, the Buddha sitting upon it, and the vertical sign up and in the air, which is the pranayamic yogi. And then above all of that is the Taiji 2 of the yin and yang of the left and right brain working harmoniously together in love under will, pure unity. And then you have the Sahasrara above that, which is the very center bindu of the circle. It all makes completely sense. And then above that, of course, is the Phoenix multiverse sun, which is the Ein Sof R. And then you have the true sacred 4774, child gnosis, being born forevermore upon the earth's floor. And then it's all complete crucis. But then above that, it's of course Father, Mother as Hadit, the 4774 will, below the mother's, in this case, 444323, as do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, and then love is the law, love under will. The shorthand is will love. And that's the ultimate duality, the ultimate bitheism of the universe, which of course is an ultimate Taiji 2 at the very top, which means a completely unitary complementarity. A complementarity. So there's an absolute unitary complementarity at the very top, which is first summated by the child. And that's the first summation. So as such, that first summation gets relegated to the very height, and you have 4774 as the key of it all down here. Chillin', bitch. See ya.